You were a favored worker at Garden View. You were closest with the polite teacup tune, Teagan. You knew way too much about all of the tunes. You knew their abilities, their stats. You even knew exactly how to avoid them and what each of them did when they were twisted. And you only knew this because Teagan and V often helped you with researching. And since they knew you kind of needed to know because, well, you're not really allowed to leave unless it's for, like, family and friends and stuff like that. One day when you got to Garden View from some sort of family event, you notice that Tegan's a little shy, which is odd because usually she's outgoing and the first to greet you. And you just go up to her and say, "Hey, Teagan, something wrong? Did something bad happen while I was gone?" She immediately shakes her head and says, "No, it's alright, listener. I just have been contemplating on a few things." And then you ask, "Well, if you need help, you know I'm here, right?" She smiles and says, "Of course. I also know that you've almost always been there." After a while, and you hear Teagan and Brittany talking, Brittany says, "Come on, Teagan. It's obvious you love Listener." Then Teagan says, "But I shouldn't. It literally says in my profile that I'm supposed to be straight." Dandy would throw a tantrum if he ever found out. Then Dandy goes into the room and says, "Oh yeah, I've known. It's obvious that you love Listener. Seriously, just go tell him. No wonder they like you back." Tegan's face goes bright pink, and Dandy leaves. Then Brittany goes off to find you, and you just quickly move about 25 feet away to make it seem like you weren't really eavesdropping. Then Brittany just grabs your arm and pulls you into the room and says, "Listener, you need to talk with Teagan. She has something to tell you." And then you say, "Okay, thanks, Brittany." Then Brittany leaves the room, leaving you and Teagan alone. And then you ask, "So, Teagan, what did you need to talk with me about?" Then she nervously says, "Well, listener, you know how it says in my file that I'm supposed to be straight?" You look at her in complete confusion. Then you say, "Yeah, why?" Then she says, "Well, it turns out I'm bisexual." Then you calmly say, "I kind of figured as much. almost no one turns out to legitimately be straight. There's always some form of some same gender person that someone likes, whether it be fictional or real. Then she nervously says, well, the only reason I'm bringing this up to you is because I love you, listener. I don't just mean like as a friend. You blush and say, well, Teagan, I love you too. You really didn't have to hide it. Plus, the being overly shy kinda gave it away. After a few weeks of you two dating, Teagan had turned twisted. When you get into garden view and you see that she's twisted, you just ignore the fact that she's twisted, go up to her, hug her, then gently kiss her cheek and say, Teagan, hun, time to go back to normal, okay? We've got stuff we gotta do. You know that. And that kind of confuses everyone else, because they don't think she's gonna respond. Then she turns back to normal and says, oh, sorry, dear. I didn't really realize I wasn't in control. And then she gently kisses you and says, so, how has your day been, love? And then you happily say, well, it's a lot better now that I'm here. How's yours been? And then she calmly says, well, aside from being turned twisted, pretty good. After a while, and you and Teagan are just cuddling in one of the storage rooms, watching some romance movie. And then Teagan kisses you and says, I love you, dear. And then you kiss her back and say, I love you too. And you both fall asleep while cuddling.